Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, talking fishing. If it's facts about fishing that you want to know, then tune in, folks, cause this is the show. We'll show you all the right bait to use, so sit right back, you got nothing to lose. Doesn't really matter if it's trout or carp, flathead, marlin or a gummy shark. Listen to the guys and you can't go wrong. They'll be talking about fishing till the cows come home. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome everyone to Talking Fishing, a big show coming your way tonight in what is a day that history has been made. Less than 2 kilometres away, 2 hours ago, our state politicians debated legislation in the upper house and voted to introduce legislation that will change Port Phillip Bay forever. The legislation spells the end of netting in Port Phillip Bay. It stops the damage to the seagrass and it stops the pelicans getting a free feed of juvenile fish when the netters discard the bycatch of undersized fish. Most importantly, the legislation gives you, the Victorian recreational anglers who invest your hard-earned money in fishing gear and lifestyle, a much better chance to catch a fish. No more areas wiped out by the netters, no more depleted stocks for weeks on end, no more spoilt Easter holiday periods where the netters have just cleaned up. Today, recreational fishing in Victoria got a whole lot better. Apart from that, on Talking Fishing, we'll talk trout, cod and much more, but before all that, big welcome to Adam Ring, as always, Ads.
Yes, Dave, another huge week. Forget snapper season. I mean, unreal. The netting's gone. That's big news. I shouldn't skip over that because that's a brilliant thing for recreational fishers in Victoria.
Making, Ads.
It is a long time, and in 10 years' time, Dave, we'll be sitting on this couch talking about how the fishing's been the best it's ever been in its lifetime. So exciting times ahead. But you know what? Forget the snapper season. The mulloway are on, boys.
The mulloway.
Oh, the mulloway are on. And when the mulloway aren't on, the kings are. So, rip a week.
It's massive, isn't it? Mulloway Kings. Anyway, it's big. A big welcome to Trelly as well. 7 more sleeps until cod season opens, and Trelly is one excited man.
I am. But probably 6 more sleeps because I usually don't sleep the night before.
I was going to say, well, normally you get into it a day early.
So just wait, because coming up in Catch of the Week very, very shortly, some absolutely fantastic mulloway have been caught, and then you add the kingfish.
Yep.
Yeah. Then you add cod season 7 sleeps away.
Yeah.
Is fishing good or what?
The best. The yellow belly been firing.
Yeah.
We've got this crazy book I've just been flipping through, the boys, that you got a hold of at the Talk Wild Trout Festival on the weekend. And I just learnt more about trout in flipping through a book in 30 seconds than I've learned in my whole life. The data, and that's unbelievable.
Taylor Hunt, who was one of the organisers along with Anthony Forster, said that the book and a lot of this information will be out on the Fisheries website. We'll actually post it next week because they're not quite ready with it. It's a pretty big document. But he said you'll be able to plan your fishing trips around this book.
Definitely.
And the research that's been done on trout is second to none. It's absolutely fantastic, and it tells a great story for our wild trout fisheries. It tells a poorer picture in, I guess, some rivers.
Yeah, that's right.
Some rivers are affected by heat, willow removal, all that sort of stuff, but some are in really good condition, and the science has said it. So
it puts a measure on it. It just puts a measure which was probably a little bit, it was probably known before but unknown to a lot of degree.
No scientific measure, Trelly.
Everything backed by science. So it's not just someone talking.
So we're going to talk about all that tonight, but don't forget, you can keep up to date with all the info from tonight on our Facebook page with Catch of the Week, hotspots and much more. Don't forget to like our page, and if you want to see a repeat of the show or you want to send a copy to a friend, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you know someone who you think would like to watch the show, tell them we now stream live on the internet. Yep, right now, streaming live on the internet. No excuses not to watch us. You'll find the correct links to Facebook, YouTube and live streaming on our website, talkingfishing.com.au. So, boys, anywhere in the world, you can watch our show, and I tell you what, an unbelievable amount of information tonight. But then next week we've got the Minister for Fisheries, Jarla Pulford, in the studio, and we want you to send us your questions for the Jarla pile, because next week we're going to ask her every single thing there is to know about fishing on pretty much the 1-year anniversary of the Andrews government being voted in, and Jarla being the Minister for Fisheries. So
it's a big tick box. Big
couple of weeks. Boys, it's now time to have a look at what's been caught by the people at home. It's time for Catch of the Week.
Catch of the week. Well, you get to see yourself on TV.
And as you mentioned, the snapper have just been fantastic.
Yep.
I was telling you boys earlier on that, you know, it was a late night last Tuesday night getting home from here, and then the old alarm clock went off at 4 in the morning. We had an absolutely ripper bite last Wednesday morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you know, back at work at 8, and that's what you can do on these
with a bag of snapper.
With a bag of snapper that were quite nice, and I mean, plenty of stories to tell about that, but also plenty from our viewers.
Yep.
So Brian Dixon will kick it off Ricketts Point. Have a look at this for a snapper, or two, and we might actually get the picture up on the screen very shortly, but Brian Dixon did very well with a couple of
Take our word for it, he got a couple of good fish.
That was a great fish.
Yeah, no, well, he actually got two, can't you see?
There
He
we
got
go.
two. There you go. A little bit slow in the production department tonight, but Brian Dixon, a couple of lovely fish off Ricketts Point, and that's the quality of fish that's coming from, if you go out of Patterson Lakes, and a lot of people do, turn right and head down Chelsea, Edithvale, Beau Morris, Mordialloc, any of those places, I certainly think that turning right's better than turning left right now, and quality fish. Absolutely fantastic. Young Charlie Bell was the next one. And I'll tell you what his dad wrote to me. G'day, guys. This is my son Charlie Bell with an 8 kilo snapper caught in 16 metres out from Mordialloc at 6 a.m. last week. This was his first snapper. It was caught on a charter, and it was 3 days after his 15th birthday. It took an unweighted pilchard. How good's that, Charlie?
Nice
well done. So nice fish.
Charlie, you've pretty well can retire from snapper fishing now.
Yeah. At 15.
That was great. Yeah.
Were you boys catching snapper like that when you turned 15?
No.
Oh, cod, but not snapper.
Yeah, cod,
Not snapper.
Charlie. Yeah, actually I would have liked a cod at 15, but anyway. I wasn't. And
No, I
took a
certainly
while.
wasn't.
Yeah. Well, when I was 15, it was the dark years, you know, like the scallop dredging was still happening and all
That's
that sort of
true.
stuff. It was dark years, and you didn't do that when you were 15. Now the kids are pulling them in at
8
3
kilo
and 4 years
snapper.
old. Yeah, thank you very much.
And that was a healthy
Charlie's out there.
looking fish too.
Dad got him out there?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's have a look at the next catch of the week, and Michael Buxton landed a
stop
couple of 6 kilo fish, and they were just absolutely fantastic. The one on the right hand side, he tells me, took a pilchard bait 3 metres under the boat, just dangling in the rod holder.
Yeah,
so
right.
the bite is hot at the moment. As I said, turn right.
Let's
keep moving along, and off Chelsea, very, very similar area, Glen Wassink, I think that's the right way to say it.
We'll go with that.
A beautiful snapper, 8.9 kilos.
That's a nice
That's interesting.
Thank you very much for that.
Chelsea in the dark.
Yeah.
Don't hear of too many fish in the dark in Port Phillip. It's
usually on daybreak or just after.
I was going to say this year more than ever. I have heard of quite a few anglers fishing through the night in Port Phillip and doing quite well. So
absolutely. All right.
Here we go.
Borno.
Get excited, Trelly.
Borno, David Borninghoff. Have a look at that. 2 Mulloway.
Yep.
Now, the beauty of this story is...
This is the best. I've known Dave a long time.
Borno reckons probably $500 a kilo there.
Yep.
He has spent countless hours. This night, he fished on his own, and he actually sat through 3 tide changes.
Yeah, right.
So the hours, the brownie points, the elephant stamp, they all go to Borno, because that is a remarkable catch, and that is a reward to an angler who deserves a reward, because he has put in the hours, and that is sensational.
I've known Dave a long time. I've actually fished for Mulloway with Dave before, and
I bet you've caught nothing.
I know we got elephant fish. He has put in some crazy hours, and not just recently, over a long period of time. So, well done, Borno. That's unbelievable. And to get 2 fish on your own like that is not easy, because they are big.
He was in
fish.
the shop a couple of days after that, and
I don't reckon he would have been in bed yet.
I've got a story to tell you about it. It's going to upset Scotty Harper, but anyway. The lucky last, Jesse Caulfield and his mates. Another duo,
pair.
another double of Mulloway in Western Port. I mean, how good is that?
And that was a big redeem mission for Jesse. They hooked a big Mulloway tea tree weekend, and had it at the side of the boat ready to go and just, you know, the fishing gods didn't want to play the game, and off it swam. But to go back and redeem yourself like that with another couple of good fish, and I said, there's no such thing as a small Mulloway in Western Port at the moment.
It's been a great year for Mulloway. If you'd like to send in a pic of your catch of the week, this is what you have to do.
If you want to be like me and have your photo on TV, email your fishing pic to info@ifish.com.au.
And coming up on Talking Fishing Product of the Week, and we discuss how the Trout Conference went last Saturday, straight after this on Talking Fishing.
Talking Fishing.
Make mine a Mornington.
G'day, David Kramer here. I'm a massive fan of the Mazda BT50, having personally driven and owned one for more than 5 years now. And to tell you what, you can't beat them for an all-round great ute and a great tow vehicle. Get into Mornington Mazda before the end of the month and grab yourself a run-out bargain. Plus, with every BT50, you get all this $500 worth of fishing gear for free. I made mine a Mornington Mazda.
Make mine a Mornington Mazda.
Product of the Week. Brought to you by Tackle World. Now with 8 great locations around Victoria. Tackle World, where our advice is priceless. That's why it's for free.
See you down at Tackle World today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Welcome back to Talking Fishing. A few technical difficulties tonight. We understand no sound through that first break, and we apologise for that. But Trelly, it's on the eve almost of cod season, 7 more sleeps. And you've got a bit of gear that you would say are essentials for when you go fishing for cod.
Exactly. Now, what I've done is I've actually picked out a few items here that I just, when I get in the boat, I look for them. You go, have I got these things? Because they're always really, really handy. So the first item there is, if I probably put up on the screen there, so here we go, is a set of scissors. Now, these scissors will do wire and things like that. But they're also got a little serrated blade here. They're really good for braid line or just nipping off when you tie down your mono leaders and you butt them up and you want to just take off those little edges and things. They're really, really good.
What's the go with what's the little doover hanging off the end?
I love
the brooch.
That's that's just a little addition there. That you pin it on the front, right?
That's so your mates can't pinch it.
Exactly. Exactly. You're at a boat and you say, oh man, you put them up the front of the boat and you've got to go up and get them. So
you just have
really
them
there.
good.
So you use it, you clip them off, you let them go. The only thing is your mate drags you in the boat when he wants to use it.
It's the fly fisherman coming out in your trolley.
It is, yeah. But they're really, really good little set of braids, so always really, really handy. The next item there is these big pliers. Now, these are essential in a boat when you're catching fish or you're catching big fish. They're actually robust enough to actually
really get some leverage and get that hook out.
So
if you've got trebles or something.
A small set of pliers, either are we trailer. We're not talking about just your normal small set of pliers.
Exactly. So you can actually manhandle a fish with these pliers. So, and what is a good advantage with these pliers is you get a hook in a fish, right? And how many times you go to pull a hook out of a fish with your fingers or a small set of pliers, the fish jumps, and then you got the other set of trebles in your finger.
Yeah.
And then there's some fun. Then there's some fun goes on. It gets really busy really quick. Yeah. So with that there, I can grab that hook. That fish can jump, and there's no way knowing
it's going to go
near
your
barrel
skin.
lure or a big cod lure. The other set of trebles is going to find its way into your fingers. So they are really, really handy. Lip grips. I know we've covered these before, but lanyard. Swim your fish back. Once you get it in, you can swim your fish with them, or you can actually, if you're careful enough, you can just pop over the side of the boat, grab your fish, and use those ones there. So lip grip. That's actually a floating.
I was going to say they're floating. So if you drop them overboard, they're going to float anyway, and you've got them back.
Exactly. Yeah. They won't float if they're in the fish's mouth, but just remember to take them.
Won't the fish float if it swallows it? What happens if like Richie Minnow swallowed that?
Oh yeah,
he'd be a bit crook.
Real big,
no.
Give him a bellyache. So. And that one there is just a simple thing to put in your boat because we're always measuring fish for regulations and size limits and things like that. So that's just a really good little item there.
Doesn't take up a lot of space.
No.
Which, I mean, a big thing in a small boat, you'd have a lot of small tinnies and bits and pieces up your way.
Exactly,
I'd imagine.
So you got your brag mats and things like that. But this is really good. And a lot of the size limits are actually on the actual ruler there, so it's really good like that. So it works really well. Mine will be quite up to date, so I just check that. Just check all your regulations as you go along, so which is really good. Now this one here, Ads. That one here is
the beast.
It is.
That's a weapon of a head torch.
I know. Now these you can get them in all sorts of different sizes and fashions. This one actually, once you turn it on, and
Shine into the camera so you can blind everyone home.
There you go. So
So hang on. So not only will they be blinded, but they'll be deaf as well because there was no sound. I don't even know if we've got sound back yet.
Yeah, no, we're just eliminating all senses at the moment.
So eyes, ears, 3 wise
No
monkeys.
idea.
Yeah, so this one actually focuses, so you can have it to a broad beam when you're walking around or walking through a structure. Or if you want to actually have a look at your something that's a little bit further away, it actually focuses. And on the back, you've got your light intensity. So you can actually turn that down to, say, battery power, or you can turn that up. Or you can turn it up to make it brighter. So yes, that's a really good item.
Yep.
And a lot of times what we do when we're fishing, we might be surface fishing, we might be fishing bait. So and you know when that hot bite is on, just on dusk, a headlamp is really good in your little pack.
Yeah, because you can see
you're
then.
back in the dark. I know. So you just don't think of that. You just go, right, you go, you fish, you come back, and you're like stumbling around over logs and bits and pieces. The last item
That's what I'm talking about, Charlie.
Yeah, you like that.
Everyone needs one of these.
I know.
Seriously, unless you own a tackle shop.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to put that there so you can see it on my shirt. But you can see that the end of that, which is like a big coil, right? So you can spin that around. But what it is, it's extendable. So I can actually extend that out. It's 4 foot long as it is, and it's got a couple of extensions through it. And it's a lure retriever. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Okay. And that'll actually extend out like this. And a lot of fishing that we do
Towards
out of
the camera,
boats,
Charlie.
a lot of fishing that we do, right, out of boats and things. Like I can get to that camera there really good. Look at that.
Yeah.
Adam ring. Looks like a ring. So a lot of times you'll actually back up on a snag if you're trolling lures and things. You extend
But you still
this
won't
out.
get it off, so you need to shove that down under the water.
Yeah, you can't get off, so you pop that down. You might give it a couple of twists or just give it a bit of a, keep your line tight, and you can work lures off structure and things like that really, really good. So it doesn't take up a lot of room in your boat.
Yeah.
Again, that works really, really well. But these are just some items that for cod fishing and a lot of other fishing is I find I just miss. You get in a boat and you go, oh, no, my pliers aren't there.
They're the things you don't realise you're missing until it's too late.
Yeah.
You don't sort of sit there and you just assume this stuff is in your tackle bag, whether it be a pair of scissors or a pair of pliers.
Yeah.
Often they're the things you don't think of till it's too late. When you go to reach for them and think,
That's
wow,
right.
I've left that at
If
home.
you're going to leave anything at home, leave the lure retriever at home because we'll show you a few extra lures. If you lose them, but that's all good. Yeah. So that's that.
There you go. Product of the week. That's essentials that you need for your cod fishing when the cod opening starts next Tuesday. It's a big day, isn't it?
Exactly. It's like the footy finals down here. It's
People counting down.
Oh, they do. It's you got two events. You got duck opening, and you got your cod opening.
Yeah.
And people really do. And we talk about fishing a lot as being an essential part of our heritage and our lifestyle. And just like guys go, we're going cod opening. They don't even fish. They just want to get out with the boys and go fish. Go and get up in the river and burn half a ton of wood and kick the dog. So but that's an excuse. It's cod opening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
A lot of reports are saying, like this cod as a bycatch. So a lot of people fishing for yellow belly.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's been quite a few photos doing the rounds of cod, and people going, "Oh, I'm getting them already, putting them back." And I haven't seen anyone say anything bad about they haven't put them back, but they're putting them back. But the cod are certainly ready to bite, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. You got places like Nullacoody guys have been sort of chasing yellow belly and catching cod. Eildon's another place that the bycatch on cod and things like that. So they're good.
Open it up.
Looks really good.
Bring it on.
Yeah,
really good. And we're going to have a dry bank event by look. No sudden drops in water and things like that.
Yep. No, exciting time of the year. And
absolutely.
It's only, like I said, just a matter of days, and it's a cod opening, and people are just hanging for it. A lot of people getting ready for it too, and they'd make a weekend of it. I know we've had this debate about trout season starts on the first weekend. Cod opening starts on the 1st of December every year, doesn't it?
Dated, so it's a Tuesday this year, so it makes sense.
Coming up on Talking Fishing, fisheries news and a bit more discussion on the banning of netting in Port Phillip Bay right after this.
Talking fishing.
Good morning, spotters. Stephanie speaking.
Talking fishing, nothing but but fishing, we're talking fishing.
And now it's time for the news. The Fisheries News. Sounds a bit fishy to me.
And plenty of fisheries news, boys. Now, I know we've had some technical difficulties.
We can't see anything. We can't hear
We
anything.
can't see anything on our monitor because they've all gone blank now as well. So, but I think we've actually got sound to the people at home. So that'd be a good thing.
There we go.
We've
Yeah.
actually got sound because we did announce some very, very special news, but we'll come back to that very, very shortly. Fisheries news. There's been a new study announced to investigate yellowtail kingfish populations, and a new 2-year study, in fact, funded by recreational fishing licence fees. It will improve our understanding of prized kingfish populations along the Victorian coast. Kingfish have enjoyed a resurgence in popularity amongst saltwater anglers who consider them great sport and very good eating, Mr. Dowling, head of fisheries, said. On a single day last February, around 100 boats actively targeted kingfish near the entrance to Port Phillip Bay, so we know Melbourne's anglers are very keen on the species. And if you remember back, boys, earlier this year, I got one, I think, on the March long weekend, and we had the platter of sashimi here, so
We expect
absolutely.
that again this year too, Dave. We're just going to put our order
Well, I
in
tell
now.
you, it'll be earlier than March, I can tell you. So we'll be going and doing that a lot earlier.
Fresh
so
too.
because the kingies are on, and I know we couldn't
there's a
cover
few
everything in Catch of the Week, even though you couldn't hear things at home. I apologise for that, but Mulloway just overtook the kingfish photos this week, didn't
that's
they,
right.
boys? So the study will determine whether kingfish caught in Victorian waters are from a single stock or multiple stocks. It will also trial the use of satellite tags to better understand kingfish movement patterns, including depth and water temperature preferences. One of the things that I spoke to Corey Green actually today, if you remember Corey, who was the scientist that come and did all the talks on the squid.
Yep.
He's actually conducting this, and anyway, they said that. Corey said to me, keen anglers could help with the study by donating kingfish frames and keeping records of their catches this summer. Scientists will extract otoliths, which is the ear bones from kingfish frames, to determine their age and use chemistry analysis to investigate kingfish temperature preferences. To register interest in helping, anglers should contact Dr. Corey Green and the study's lead fisheries scientist, and his details hopefully are on the screen, but we have a blank screen, so we've got no idea what you're watching at home. So there you go. But that's one bit of fisheries news,
cool.
boys. It is pretty good. Boys, I mentioned earlier on the netting legislation, and I had a few words to say about that.
That's right. Replay.
We'll talk about that later on in the show. But the netting legislation was passed today, and it's a momentous occasion, boys. It's really paves the way for better recreational fishing for generations to come.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Can't
A lot
wait
of
for
hard work.
2018 to roll around, 2020 to roll around.
Yeah. Well, so 2018 is when the Kramer Bay will be closed.
Yes.
2022. Everything finished, so it's really going to be a momentous occasion, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as well. Boys, just back on the trout conference, we did show a book before, and I know people couldn't hear what we were talking about, but this book, when it's published, and we'll give you details next week, it virtually singles out, Trelly, about 10 rivers in Victoria, 10 key rivers, I reckon.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's
we actually attended this meeting, and they went through,
us
through a
and
page.
200 people. Thank you very much.
But they actually went through every page, didn't they? In detail.
Wow.
Basically at the conference, which was really, really good.
Yeah.
When we talk about fishing and monitoring fish, we're in a captive market here. You got trout which live in a stream. I don't know how they do it with kingfish because it's saltwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the Barkly River, Dargo River, Goulburn River, Howker River, Jamison River, Kiewa, King, Midda, Morass Creek, Narrial Creek, Ovens River, and there's one other in the southwestern that will be studied very shortly. But it virtually gives you a scorecard on how good those rivers fish.
And how good it has been.
Yeah, and some of the things that it's measured is recent recruitment. Does the river hold multiple size classes? So does it have, last year's spawn? Does it have some big fish?
Spawning fish. That's right.
And these rivers were all electrofished, and have they covered 50 centimetre? Is there 50 centimetre plus fish living in the river? A lot of them are. And then they did an overall rating of how good the fishery is, and some of the stuff that's been done on the Delatite River, they've actually got monitors in there on water temperature.
Yep.
And it was amazing. Like in the heat of a day, the water temperature flowing through that river went up or down by around 12 degrees, Trelly. I think that's pretty
correct,
right. So it's not like Port Phillip Bay where you get this gradual increase in water temperature and then through winter it gradually comes down and it's pretty much affected by the ocean currents. A river can go up or down in it can go up and down by 12 degrees between day and night.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And that does a lot of damage to some trout if it's a really hot day.
I caught a quick bit in there saying just basically based on the direction in which the river's running is exposing it to the heat of the sun throughout our summer months.
Yeah. It's east-west, you get the sun all day.
Exactly, and it's just
North-south, it's covered by...
Do one of the scientists want to relocate the Hauka River instead of running east-west to north-south so it'd be cooler? Don't know how he's going to do that, but anyway.
But it was very, very informative. And they had those little chips like you're talking about, Dave.
Yeah.
And the smaller ones they put in small fish, the medium ones because of the battery size in them.
Yep.
And like you say, in a lot of the agricultured areas, we get a much greater increase in temperature. But those riparian zones, which are along the creeks, they're working with farmers and things like that to get those areas to actually cover the creek a little bit more and breed the bugs that the fish need to get that whole biology going in the creek and the anatomy of the creek sort of alive again. It's going to have some huge parts. It could be like Cryo Bay, I reckon. 2020 coming up.
Yep.
They'll be ready to go.
It's going to be a different fishery.
Improve the habitat, and they see it on the day. Take care of the fish.
No, take care of the habitat. The fishing will look after itself.
That's right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it was a really good day.
Interesting.
Yeah. We talked about replanting willows, didn't we?
We did, but yeah, there's a bit of a.
Don't get me started on taking willows out because I tell you what, unless they, in fact, a gentleman by the name of Tom Camp said something very, very sensible. He said we shouldn't be talking about willow removal programs. We should be talking about willow replacement programs. Yeah. Replace it before you remove them, and that's the key to having some really good habitat for some trout. Yeah. Now, Trelly, let's move off the trout for a minute and let's spend a little bit of time on cod opening. Next Tuesday is cod opening, the 1st of December.
Yep.
Land-based. Where would you go and what technique would you use?
Land-based.
Number one.
Land-based.
Tell us where people can go next Tuesday.
Because I'm going to suss it out.
It should... Water conditions should be, at the moment, we'll have a dry bank event for cod opening, which makes land-based fishing a really good option. So basically you grab your rod, your reel, your bait, and you can walk along the banks of the Goulburn River's got great access between Murchison and basically Echuca. A lot of the Murray River, you travel along the Murray River, and the access to the Murray River is fantastic. You can really get in behind Barmer there, downstream, upstream of Echuca. But just chase your structure. So bait fish and chase your structure, I'd say.
Now, if you're going boat fishing, where would you go?
Boat fishing, again, if you've got a big boat, I'd go the Murray. Small boat, you go the Goulburn because of the logs and bits and pieces to get over. And again, spend 10-15 minutes at a time. Fish upstream from your structure, get your baits and bits and pieces and work down. But if you're fishing out of a boat, you're probably more likely to lure fish. So just slow upstream, just lure fish so you got that feedback on your rod, that tap, tap, tap feedback on your rod, and point your rod forward so that when your lure gets a little bit of a hook up on a bit of structure, drop your lure, your rod tip
bit
back.
Of slack line.
Yep. It'll float because they're normally floating lures. They float up and then come forward again, and you'll find you can actually dance them and work them through a lot of structure. Downstream's a little bit hard, but just troll upstream and casting the structure with spinner baits, things like, and surface fishing.
Yeah, bring that on.
Surface fishing for Murray cod, like Lake Malata, the broken between Shepparton and Benalla, the ovens, things like that. Surface fishing has really got its straps going.
Boys, up next, Kramer's mailbag, and we're going to tell you what I said at the start of the show that you couldn't hear me. Plenty more on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
We know what you'd rather be doing.
We know what you've really got in mind.
We know you'd rather be out fishing. And today's the day you're gonna wear the line. 'Cause every day's a good day.
Stop wishing.
Every day's a chance to drift away. Drift away.
Every day's a good day for fishing. See you down at Tackle World today.
Talking fishing. nothing but fishing. We're talking fishing.
Plenty of mailbag on tonight, I can tell you, and only joking. No. The boys just said to me, mime a little bit, and just scare the people in the technical room, and I just did that, and I think I'm in trouble already. They're yelling in my ear. So, only joking, Kevin and boys. A bit of a frustrating night tonight on the technical scene. Let's get into Kramer's mailbag, and Mark Potter writes to us and says, "G'day, fellas. In reference to last week's query about flares, I have to agree with Trelly. I take mine up the bush camping and let the kids set them off." No, he's going to get serious in a minute. Yeah, not just because they are fun and I am irresponsible, but I do want the kids to know what to do if they need to set them off in an emergency.
There you go.
There you go. Well, that's my excuse. They are fun to set off, and who can be buggered going all over the place to try and get rid of them?
And they need to be reminded every 12 months.
Next one. Hi, Kramer, on your last Talking Fishing segment. This one come from... I don't know who it is, Roverland, whoever he is. You were asked about disposal of expired flares. Flares and expired EPIRBs can be disposed of at the following police stations. And I think we've got a slide that will show you those police stations. Or maybe not. Maybe I can. Maybe, do you want me to mime that? I'll say these are the police stations.
There we go.
There you go. Up on your screen. There's all the police stations you can take.
There we go.
None at Shepparton.
No, but you can take them to your shop, and then you can either take them to the soccer or up the bush camping trolley.
That's great.
Take them to Tackle World in Shepparton. Yeah. All right, let's keep going along. Jason C. writes to us, when are the government going to end Port Phillip Bay and Corio Bay boat netting? I live in Geelong and regularly see boat netters in close around the waterfront, and it's killing the bay. Fishing for future generations will be bad, as this over-netting is seriously going to kill fishing for the long term. I'm going to give an editorial in about 2 minutes' time.
You might be able to hear it this time too.
Next one from Ben Holder. To the boys at Talking Fishing, love watching your show. As a suggestion, could you guys get some Talking Fishing t-shirts made up for you guys to wear on set? And also to give out as prizes. And chuck Richie on the shirt.
Chuck Richie on the barbecue.
Trelly, can you organise shirts? There you go. Chuck Richie on the barbie. Ronald wrote to us and he said, "Hey guys, good show. Talking about the lake-eeled and yellowbelly, a lot of us fishers who mainly catch and release natives have seen and talked about guys on overcrowded tinnies and kayaks bagging out on the yellows, taking them to shore, dropping off to a van." You've got a van, haven't you, Charlie? You have. Yes. You've got a van, right? Taking him to the van and returning to bag out again and again and again and taking him back to the van. They do it all day. Something has to be done. Our fees are being wasted, Trelly.
No,
Stop
you're right.
parking your van.
Take your van off the premises.
I need a bigger freezer.
This one came from Roy, and he says, "Hi guys, can we ask Vic Fisheries if the government can run the aeration pump at Lake Bullen-Marai again to stop the blue-green algal blooms in hot weather before and during summer? Otherwise, we may end up with a fish kill and wasted money on restocking." We'll talk to Fisheries during the week on that one. Yeah. This one is from Pandelis, and he writes, "David and crew, I missed a small part of a discussion of tonight's show, but caught you guys talking about having different size limits for different waterways. You, Kramer, were saying that young pinky, medium-sized to 35 centimetres, would kill the fishing for the pier fishers that catch 28 centimetre pinkies for fees. I don't know. Did you discuss possibly having different size limits for boat and for land-based fishermen? We talked at the Talk Wild Trout conference about having different size limits for plenty of different waters, didn't we, Charlie?
We did, actually.
And I think that's the way to go. It's a complicated issue, bag and size limits, and particularly for trout where they're stocked, wild trout, different impoundments, there needs to be a few different things. And I'll skip that one. And this one here, fellas, been launching around Western Port from Stony Point, Hastings, round to Rill. I've noticed Warneat and Coronella ramps seem to take forever, and the facilities are crap. You allowed to say that?
You can,
Okay. Are these privately owned ramps? Because the little shop at Warneat seems to pocket the cash and not reinvest. Why can you buy a year pass for all of them and could even put in another ramp at Coronella? That's what we pay, up to $15 a drop. That was from Rick. So plenty of issues around
Yeah,
ramps. And
heaps.
look,
Ramp again.
we're going to touch on that with Jarla next week because it's probably the biggest issue.
Yep.
Has been for a long time and will be probably until a
they
year
sort
or
it
two
out.
in the next election. So I'm going to repeat what I said at the start of the show, if you don't mind, boys, because today was a big day.
Needs to be said.
Today, history was made. Less than 2 kilometres away, 2 hours ago, our state politicians debated legislation in the upper house and they voted to introduce legislation that will change Port Phillip Bay forever. The legislation spells the end of netting in Port Phillip Bay. It stops the damage to the seagrass and it stops the pelicans getting a free feed of juvenile fish when the netters discard the bycatch of undersize fish. Most importantly, the legislation gives you, the Victorian recreational anglers who invest your hard-earned money in fishing gear and lifestyle, a much better chance to catch a fish. No more areas wiped out by netters, no more depleted stocks for weeks on end, no more spoilt Easter holiday periods where the netters have just cleaned up. Today, recreational fishing in Victoria got a whole lot better. Today, Trelly, you, myself, Rex Hunt, Jeff Wilson and many other recreational anglers sat in the docks of Parliament House and witnessed this historic vote. And it'll change Port Phillip Bay fishing forever. It will take a few years to get them out. The longliners will stay after 2022. Corio Bay will finish with netting in 2018 and many netters of the 43 will take the package next April. It will change recreational fishing forever. And Trelly, we just shook hands at the end of it and said, it's been a long battle. We feel compassionate for those people, the 43 families that are going to be out of business. We seriously do. And I spoke to a couple of them that were sitting in the dock today and we're compassionate. But they're getting a payout. Things are going to change and it's all for the good, isn't it?
Yeah. And there's a lot of people behind this whole thing. I mean, the grassroots guys down at Corio Bay.
The Friends of Corio Bay Action Group.
Yes.
They have fought this battle from day one and they've fought it hard and there's a bunch of them. In fact, there's probably 700 of them that are members that march down the streets and down to the foreshore on numerous occasions, organised all the events and they really need a pat on the back. And I know Ivan, he sent some text messages and I reckon he might be having a few by now. I reckon he might have had 3 or 4 or 10 by now.
Having a few now.
But momentous occasion, boys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, big day.
Absolutely. And like I say, roll on 2018, roll on 2020 with the 1 million target.
Yep.
The government initiative to get 1 million fishermen fishing.
Recreational fishers,
yes. And
they'll
the conditions
have a
in
fish to
Corio
catch.
Bay, I mean, they'll want to go fishing.
They'll all have a fish to catch.
A million people fishing.
One of the things that was mentioned, and I've got to say there was a couple of people that voted against the legislation today. One was the Greens and that lady who gave this magnificent speech just to demonstrate that she had no idea about fishing. And I leant over to Rex and I said, "Who's that?" And Rex leant over to Craig Ingram and he said, "Who's that?" And the message come back down the line, she's from the sex party. She had no idea about fishing. She talked rubbish in Parliament. And if you can get your hands on Hansard tomorrow, have a read of the rubbish that she read today. She had no idea. Do that thing, Trelly. No idea, go on. I love it when you do that.
Yeah, it's like, but... Yeah, it's all no idea. But it's always like the Greens do it all the time. They don't research their things and they make things up. You really discredit yourself usually when you don't know your subject.
Greg Barber gave a 5-minute speech about how recreational fishermen take more snapper than the commercial longline industry. What the hell has that got to do with the netting buyout? Because the longliners aren't getting touched. And it's not the snapper we're worried about. It's the haul seining that takes out the juvenile whiting, the juvenile flathead, the leather jackets, the pinkies.
That's right.
Everything that's juvenile gets fed to the pelicans. So seriously, there were some embarrassing moments from some of those people that it's embarrassing that they're members of Parliament.
Did you say kindergarten?
I saw stuff today that wasn't at the level of kindergarten. And they'd obviously done about kindergarten research. So anyway, Don't get me started.
Wind him up.
Sorry, if you want to write to us, guys, this is what you have to do.
Send your mail to Kramer's mailbag, PO Box 734, Patterson Lakes, Victoria 3197, or email kramer@ifish.com.au.
Coming up this week's hotspots next on Talking Fishing.
Talking fishing.
G'day, Callan here from Paul Worslam's Tackle World Kramer. Supercharged batteries have been supplying maintenance-free marine batteries since 2001. The Seamaster Gold range is second to none, delivering superior starting power and reserve capacity. No need to top up with water, truly a fit and forget battery. With up to 2 years replacement warranty, you know you have quality. Your battery is your lifeline. Without it, you're dead in the water because it's bloody hard to push start. I've got a Seamaster battery in my boat. Make yours a Seamaster Gold today.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing.
Hello, Richie Minnow here. It's now time for this week's Fishing Hotspots on Talking Fishing. Marvellous.
Not very happy with Richie Minnow tonight. Do you know what happened, boys? At the start of the show, we had no sound.
Yeah.
A bit of sweat off the brow of Richie Minnow dropped onto a wire and stopped sound.
Shorted the whole lot out.
That Neil Mack has actually emailed me and said happened for 22 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
Richie Minnow, you should be disgraced. But anyway, let's bit of salty sweat. Landed on a wire, no sound for 22 minutes. And thank you for telling us, Neil. You're only the 174th person that's text messaged and emailed us. But thank you very much for letting us know.
At least we know people are watching.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's anyway. Very good. Let's get into the hotspots. And the first one, Clifton Springs down your way, Trelly. Tackle World Geelong is just full of reports from Clifton Springs. Some big snapper down that way.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of reports in from down there. So regular catches now.
Yep.
And we're still. Has the water temperature come up? Is it just about there?
Yeah, just over 18 and pushing 19 now. And that's the trigger point where they really get active. Right. They school up, they feed, they're hungry, they're ready to do their stuff.
So there's no reason why.
A bit like you dressed in drag last Saturday night, as you said. Okay. I meant to put those photos up, but I didn't.
Bad move sending you that.
Yeah. But 18 degrees and you go off, don't you, Trelly? So anyway. The next one is Chelsea. If you come out of Patterson Lakes and turn right, Chelsea is not too far away. I would head to 18 metres. That's the place to be for the snapper this week.
And like you said, turning right from Carrum seems to be a little bit more reliable than anywhere else at the moment.
We're going to cover a couple of other species, and right now, if you head out of Rye, out to the shipping channel, something that hasn't showed up too much in the catches of the week.
I'm listening.
Nice gummies.
Hey!
It's on told up to 17 kilos.
Oh, there you go.
So very nice gummies. It's going to be real good. And the next one, let's head over to Western Port, and Coronella is the place to fish for big snapper.
Snapper, mulloway. A lot of the mulloway that we've seen from the last fortnight have been out of Coronella.
Yeah, okay.
That again, those shallow flats, they take a cup of baking. That sun's nice and warm now. Even on those cool days, and the wind drops a little bit, and the sun pokes through the clouds, it's got a bit of sting on it.
Yep.
It bakes those mud flats on the low tide and really warms the water up. Yeah, they're only in shallow water. Sometimes in only 4 metres, 3 metres. So
I saw some photos today of some fish. Some calamari that came off the Flinders Pier this week, and that's our next hotspot. Full moon on Thursday night. I would be heading down there on the full moon, and for the couple of days afterwards, the calamari at night will fish absolutely superbly off the Flinders Pier, and now's the time. I've seen photos of 3 kilo squid coming off it this week, so get down to Flinders Pier. And the other one is you need to get down there in the next week or two. Lake Tyers is absolutely on fire for not only big bream, but big flathead at the moment, and it's the time to get down there. I think December, things start to warm up. A lot of boats start getting down there for the holidays. You get a bit of traffic, and the fish do tend to shut down a little bit. You've got to do it in the last weekend of November. It's you're getting a little bit over. So some good fishing, boys, all around the state, isn't it? And that's not to mention the mulloway, not to mention the kingfish, not to mention the cod.
Are they still catching tuna?
Probably. We just don't care anymore.
I'm not sure that anyone's out there targeting, but Trelly, I bet you there's a truckload of tuna out there.
Yeah, I know. How much tuna can you eat?
I hate hotspots every week. It just gets me all excited and I can't go anywhere.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Now, boys, I haven't got my what's coming up on C31, but anyway, what's coming up? No, what's coming up on C31? I'm sure we're going to show you the slide there. And tonight you've got Catch and Cook. Thursday morning, if you want to see a repeat of the show,
that actually has the sound.
We
for the first
promise
half.
you it will have sound. So there's a repeat of this show Thursday 7 o'clock in the morning and Saturday 9 o'clock in the morning. Please watch it because there was a very big announcement at the start of the show all about the netting, and I know I've repeated that, but it's a historic day.
Absolutely.
And we will cover it in a lot more detail next week with Jala on the show. So no doubt about that. Coming up on
Huge
Friday,
amounts of fishing on Saturday.
AFN, great show, 6:30 in the morning. If you can get up early and watch that, Billy Klassen, I mean, some of the stuff he does is absolutely fantastic. And UFish TV straight after that on Friday morning, and then just have a look at the extravaganza all day Saturday.
Just leave it on.
Virtually from us at 9 o'clock in the morning right through to 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, just leave it on.
Just watch fishing.
You done that without your glasses?
Yeah, no, the eyes are good.
Yeah.
Except for those spotlights are in there and they're burning. Probably got third-degree burns in my eyeballs from the big lights up there. But anyway, it's all good.
Good work.
Now, boys, like I said, a big day in netting. I just want to run through the compensation package because people, there was some upset people, I've got to say, in Parliament today. And Trelly, you saw me get dragged out during, I think it was play lunch time because that's how they were acting like kindergarten kids. All the politicians went out, and one of the netting families grabbed me and said, "I want to talk to you outside." And I thought, here you go.
Game on.
I've got my health insurance paid up, but they talked about their livelihood, how long that licence had been in their family and so forth. Now, the netters are getting, and I might be wrong here, I'm going to try and actually, I might just lean over and get my notes. I've got my notes, it's all right. They get $310,000 just for having a licence. Okay, so that's compensation to buy back their licence, $310,000. They get $75,000 for their assets. So they still get to sell their nets or their boats or whatever their assets are, but they get a $75,000 compensation package just to help dispose of those assets. Then they get a payment of 3 years of their catch times the market value, and their catch is averaged over the best 5 years. All right, so some of them are facing $1.6 million. All right, fair payouts. The market rate's set, so each species is listed in the new legislation and they get that market rate. Now, if they choose not to take the compensation package next April in 2016, then their compensation is reduced by 10%. And if they wait till the following April, it's reduced by another 10%, and so on until the year 2022. In 2022, they have no choice but to hand in their licence to Fisheries. In amongst all that, 8 of the licence holders out of the 43 can apply, in fact all of them can apply to be a longliner. And at the end, in 2022, 8 people will have a longline licence where they can fish for gummy shark, snapper and whatever else bites their hooks on their long lines. So it's not the end of commercial fishing. People keep saying this is the end of commercial fishing. It's not. There is a very, very good mussel industry. There's a very good oyster industry that's growing. There's a very good abalone industry, aquaculture in Port Phillip Bay. Then there's the commercial fishery. A lot of boats working out of Queenscliff and Geelong that go out in the Commonwealth waters. There is plenty of fish, and we're seeing that less than 3% of the fish that people eat in Victoria comes from Port Phillip Bay, and less than 1% is in the restaurants in Victoria. So when you see those stories in the Herald Sun...
So it's probably the biggest bit of, I guess, misconstrued...
figures.
You know, all the conversations about how we're going to pay too much for seafood and local. Yeah, it's.
Well,
the fact is, we're not eating local stuff now.
No, last week we read out the menu from Rockpool.
Yeah.
And was there anything there from Port Phillip Bay? Maybe calamari, but they didn't specify. But Rock Flathead and King George Whiting that could be, or well, Whiting could be, had a disclaimer on it saying it come from Corner Inlet. So, you know, so that's the package. We think that it's fair, and we've all discussed it. It's a fair compensation package, and you know what? Times change. The people down at Ford would love to keep their job, but car manufacturing is moving offshore. The people that work at Holden in Adelaide, they'd love to keep their job, but car manufacturing is moving offshore. And it's the same as netting is going. The people are being paid fair compensation,
We just wanted
and
to move
recreational
offshore.
fishing will get
Not in the
better
bay.
in Port Phillip Bay.
We
Sorry?
just want them to move offshore, not in the bay.
That's right. Yeah. We had some discussion today about pilchards because there is a shortage of pilchards right now, and Western Australia's had some pretty ordinary conditions. There's not a lot of pilchards around. Port Phillip Bay, the guys that are netting them at the moment, they're all small. South Australia, the whole quota has gone to the tuna farms. Eden, been really tough to get pilchards. So right now, believe it or not, there is a very big shortage of pilchards, and what we're saying is there is a very good fishery off Lakes Entrance that gets pilchards for the pet food industry. We need some of that to come into the bait industry to replace the Port Phillip and some of the other harder to get industries. So there's a lot of commercial fishing that goes on.
Yeah.
It's not all over. Trust me, it's not all over. There is plenty more fish in the sea.
That's it.
Trelly, did you get any of this up at Shepparton?
We don't.
Do you hear about the netting ban?
No, we don't. It really is one of those localised issues where you don't take an interest until your little fishing hole becomes a car park or something like that.
Yeah.
So it is really a Port Phillip Bay centred thing.
Yeah.
We do. A lot of blokes are aware of it, but no, not really. So yeah.
Yeah. It is a big week in fishing because apart from the kingfish, the mulloway, the snapper, all that, cod opening opens next Tuesday and we'll report on that. Apologies to everybody for the sound problems at the start of the show, but trust me, the repeats of the show will be good for tomorrow, for Thursday morning and Saturday morning if you don't watch it. That's it for Talking Fishing. We hope you enjoyed the show on this historic day for recreational fishing. Next week, we have the Minister for Fisheries, Jarla Pulford, in the studio. Make sure you email all your questions to kramer@ifish.com.au and we'll put them in the famous Jarla pile and we'll try to get the Minister to answer your questions. Until next Tuesday evening on Talking Fishing, stay safe on the water and enjoy your fishing.
Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. We got all you need, just take a look. Watch those fish jump on your hook. So just relax and take your time. Enjoy the show, then drop us a line. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing, nothing but fishing, we're talking fishing. Talking fishing.
Have a good weekend, Mr. Walker.
You too, son.